With the second half of this year being stacked in the gaming space, there is a tendency to miss out on some good ones. One game I do recommend checking out is Dark Envoy from Event Horizon. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed the first game, Tower of Time, and because of that, Dark Envoy has been sitting on my Steam wishlist since it was announced. The two games I've tried from the developer aren't really AAA in terms of quality, but I highly recommend what they have to offer. So if you're interested, here are some things to know about Dark Envoy. Dark Envoy follows a top-down RPG format, but its gameplay is similar to Tower of Time in that it slows down time in combat, or you have the option to pause fights. A number of people made requests in the previous game for a proper turn-based option, but I thoroughly enjoyed the bullet time aspect, so much that I rarely use the option in Dark Envoy. I like that you have to think fast and execute actions based on your cooldowns and mob positioning. I suppose it makes it a bit difficult to make an argument for this when games like BG3 and Solasta are in the market. Still, it's not that difficult to manage. Maybe the devs could improve the system further, as based on the demo, there are some weird behaviors on the AI front. For the most part though, combat is fun and engaging. It sort of keeps the pacing steady and there's no waiting around in fights. Some things are a bit normal when compared to other RPGs. I mean, the conversations either maintain the top-down view or there will be those cutscene-like approaches. The thing is, and when it comes to combat, Event Horizon are doing their own thing and it's something I appreciate. It's not unique, but it's still different. As mentioned, Event Horizon just has to keep refining their systems and I'm hoping that they smoothen things out for the actual release and their future games. There is another somewhat different aspect of managing health in Dark Envoy. When I looked at the health bar, I initially thought that it was your standard effective health total where it was your hit points plus any shield or mitigation effects. So looking at the bars above the characters, I thought it was, well, green bar plus gray bar equals total health. But as I kept going into combat, I noticed that my characters were dying much faster the more I went into fights. And that's when I noticed that there were also bars under the portraits. When I took a beating from a fight, I noticed that a red portion in the health area would start to grow over time. That left me wondering if I was suffering from any status effects, but as it turns out, and as you go over the codex, it's referred to as wounded HP. Basically, I think a third of any damage you take gets converted into wounded HP. That's the red bar, and that red bar is basically unhealable damage unless you visit a healing shrine or go back to town. So that explained why my characters went down faster the longer I stayed in different fights. And it makes usage of healing shrines a more thoughtful affair. So keep that in mind when going into fights in this game. Dark Envoy uses some systems that are fairly similar to other RPGs. You have attribute points to allocate each time you level, which has corresponding benefits. You can assign specific skills and passives to your characters, and I'll be honest, so far the passives aren't all too impressive or maybe impactful, and it's really the skills where you feel the gameplay effects. Well, I think some of the mana-related passives are okay, but the others not so much. Now, you also have crafting, which enables you to create items and add modifiers to them. The materials you need for crafting are out in the world, or you can also buy them from vendors. Now, for the importance of crafting, you aren't really put into a situation where you worry about your gear missing specific traits. However, this is just the demo, and if the previous game is any indication, specific stats might become more valuable in endgame content. Now, enchanting is another system in the game which is present in most RPGs. Only specific items can be enchanted in the game, and they aren't really permanent in the sense that you can replace them. It's a good thing, as oftentimes different situations call for different setups. The only material cost to replacing enchants is not being able to refund the cost of the original enchantment. Now, both crafting and enchanting have some dependence on researching upgrades for the two systems. In the Research tab, it allows you to unlock different levels for the upgrade systems. It's a good interplay of the mechanisms where you can choose to enhance your ability to upgrade or allocate your research points into the tactical or gameplay tree. So there is some sacrifice involved unless you, make an effort to keep exploring the world to get more resources. Malachi and Kayla, the siblings, are the main characters of Dark Envoy. it is possible to have a party of 4, but from the get-go you can only customize these characters. Now, the main classes are Warrior, Engineer, Ranger, and Adept. Now, when you reach level 7, each one will also have its own subclass, which allows you to further tailor fit the experience. So, in effect, you have 12 classes to choose from. Now, you're pretty much free in terms of the classes you can use, and I don't see any disadvantage to choosing certain classes. My go-to combo at the start has always been Warrior Engineer, but like I said, you can really go for whichever one you like. Now, if you're interested to know, you do get a warrior type companion even before hitting level 7, so you may want to choose a no warrior classes from the siblings. There is actually a point in the demo where you will all of a sudden get options with other class combinations, so it was kind of welcoming and overwhelming at the same time, where you can have more companions to choose from, so variety in playstyle is there in the game. So the last one is a pretty quick one, but Tower of Time's fight setups were arena based even though you were using the same tile set. Now Dark Envoy no longer has those set arenas, but some principles still apply. You can still line of sight your enemies and basically group them up together to mow down those mobs with area damage spells and abilities. Now, most areas have explosive containers as well. You can take advantage of them to basically blow up weaker enemies or severely damage the stronger ones. Now, one more thing, line of sight also helps if one of your characters has an invisibility effect. Now, just in case it's nearly a complete team wipe or some of your party members are down, the character with the invisibility effect can find a place to keep out of sight, break combat, and sneakily revive downed teammates. And yeah, those are some things that you should know about Dark Envoy, and I hope this helps out those who are maybe thinking about getting into this game. Thanks for watching guys, you got Crave here, and I'll talk to you soon.